you, but I love the feeling of being happy. I mean, who doesn't? Happiness comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and like all emotions, it's not an everlasting feeling. Today, I'm going to be going over 9 habits that I incorporate into my daily life to boost my mood and happiness. Hey everyone, it's Everyday Jan. My channel is all about health, wealth, and how to make every day yours. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more videos. So what actually causes us to feel happy? Now, I don't want to get too scientific because this isn't a science lecture, but it comes down to 2 neurotransmitters in our brain, which is serotonin and dopamine, and also oxytocin and endorphins, which are hormones in our body. Understanding that these hormones and neurotransmitters lead to an elevated mood is important because it helps us figure out what exactly is it that makes us happy. The first habit that I incorporate into my daily routine is getting sun exposure. You know, on those cloudy days, you just want to stay inside and do absolutely nothing, and your mood just feels all doom and gloom. There's a reason why. Sunlight is thought to increase the brain's release of serotonin, which helps with happiness, satisfaction, and optimism. In fact, most of the medications that are used to treat clinical depression are SSRIs, which increase the amount of serotonin in your brain and prevent the reuptake of it. And there's actually a medical diagnosis called SAD, short for Seasonal Affective Disorder. SAD is a mood disorder which is characterized by depression that occurs at certain times of the year, typically the fall and winter months. And it is more common in places that are very cloudy and don't get a lot of sun exposure. And one of the main treatments for SAD is light therapy. They have these light boxes which mimic natural light, which then increases your mood. Another benefit of sunlight is that it gives your body vitamin D, which is important for bone health. When people have vitamin D deficiencies, they can have bone aches, weakness, muscle pain, and depression. If you want to know if you have a vitamin D deficiency, there is a blood test that can check for that. So getting light exposure into your daily routine can really help not only with your mood, but also with your bone health. And it doesn't have to be a lot of sun. Typically 10 to 30 minutes is enough. Just make sure you're putting on sunscreen at least SPF 30 to prevent that UV radiation and skin cancer. Also, try to avoid it when the sun intensity is the highest, which is usually around 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So some of the different things that I did was I would try to eat my lunch outside, or if I had a break and I was in between patients, I would take a walk outside around the hospital. Another pointer related to sun is open up your blinds and let some natural sunlight in. I've been to some people's houses, like my mom's, where she keeps the blinds closed all the time, and it's just really depressing, but I guess some people like that. Now, the next thing I incorporate into my day are power naps. I love power naps. They are a great way to recharge your batteries and give you that midday boost that you need to increase your alertness, your memory, and your concentration, and your mood. Typically, a power nap should be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. A full sleep cycle lasts for 90 minutes, and there are 4 stages. When you take a 10 to 15 minute power nap, you get into the first 2 stages of sleep, so you still get some benefits of sleep, but it's short enough that you don't go into the deep stages of sleep, so you don't wake up feeling groggy and like crap. The key to a power nap is to set an alarm so you don't sleep too much and don't feel groggy, and also to sleep early enough in the day that it doesn't prevent you from sleeping at night. I usually take my power naps around lunchtime, but do what works for you. One thing that I use to track my sleeps and also my naps is my Oura Ring. I've had it for over a year now, and there are some pros and cons to it, but let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a review of it from a doctor's perspective. The next thing is the digital age that we live in. These days, we are constantly on our phones or checking our phones. When I accidentally leave my phone behind, I go through a cycle of emotions. First, I feel like a part of me is missing. I start thinking things like, what if so-and-so texts me or calls me and I miss it? Once I get over that and I realize that it's very unlikely that somebody's going to die if I miss a text message, then I feel so free. Sometimes it's just so nice to be disconnected from your phone. So first of all, I leave my phone outside of my bedroom when I'm sleep. This way, I'm not tempted to check my phone before I go to bed and immediately when I wake up. Secondly, I set a screen time limit. I don't allow myself to open certain apps on my phone from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. I also set a screen time limit on my TikTok and my Instagram. Social media is a whole different topic in and of itself, but spending too much time on social media can really decrease our mood and also skew our perception of reality. Most people tend to post the best version of themselves on social media, and as a viewer, we think that this tiny portion of themselves is their entire lives, and we get into a compare and despair type of situation. But in reality, nobody's life is 100% perfect. Third, I silence certain text messages. Especially if I'm in a group chat and there's just so many text messages that are being sent around, I just silence them and I check them on my own time. The other thing that can really bring you down is the news. Now, I think it's important to stay on top of what is going on in the world, but when I watch too much news and see how much suffering there is going on in the world, it can really be depressing. That really brings me down and makes me look at the glass half empty. Another habit that can increase happiness is to make somebody else's day better, and by performing acts of kindness. Acts of kindness release both endorphins and oxytocin. Oxytocin plays a role in relationships and trust, and endorphins cause pleasure, and so both of them lead to happiness. There are so many ways to make just one person's life better. It can be as simple as just sending a text message to a friend or somebody who needs it, or it can be complimenting somebody on something that they did well. Smile at a stranger, or just holding the door for someone. Another habit that I do every day is stretching. With this digital age, we are constantly attached to our phones and our screens all the time, and we end up sitting for prolonged periods. And as a result, all of our muscles get really tight. When this goes on for too long, we start getting neck pain, back pain, just everything just starts to hurt. Some of the most common issues that I see are neck pain because our trapezius muscles and cervical spinospinal muscles just get really tight from being on the computer all the time. Back pain is also very common. Now, there are a lot of different causes for back pain, but often we see that people who sit at desks for a long period of time end up developing tight hip flexors. The hip flexors attach to the spine, and when the hip flexors are tight, that causes the pelvis to tilt forward, and that causes an increased curvature of your back, which can cause back pain. So I incorporate stretching into my daily routine to help increase the blood flow into my muscles, and I do it early in the morning before I work out, as well as at nighttime before I go to bed. If you can, warm up ahead of time, or stretch in a warmer environment such as in a shower or a sauna. The heat causes blood flow to increase towards your muscles, making them more pliable to change and to lengthening. Hold each stretch for at least 30 seconds and breathe into your stretch. Feel the muscle tension lengthen when you stretch, and it should not be painful. Now, sometimes you can stretch all you want, but if you have muscle knots, you can't really get that out with stretching alone, and you might need to foam roll or massage those muscle knots out. So some of the things that I like to use is a foam roller or a back buddy, which really helps get those knots out. It's a free massage. It increases blood flow to that area and it makes you feel great. I'll link the products that I use down below so you can check it out. The next few have to do with physical health. Physical health has a lot to do with mental health. When we exercise, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline are released, all of which play a role in our mood, pleasure, and self-confidence. There have been a lot of studies showing a strong correlation between exercise and well-being. You might be familiar with the movie Legally Blonde, where Elle Woods talks about exercise, and she says exercise makes you happy and happy people don't kill their husbands. And she's not wrong. According to the American Health Association, we should be getting 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, which equates to 30 minutes 5 days a week. Alternatively, you can get 75 minutes a week for high intensity exercise. Personally, I think the best exercise is the one that you actually enjoy. If you don't enjoy going to the gym, then don't do that, but find something different. Try different things. For me, I love being outdoors, so I love hiking, walking my dogs, and swimming. If you're super busy and you can't make time for exercise, you can try incorporating exercise while you work. For example, there are walking treadmill desks, or you can use a stability ball as a replacement for your chair to really work on those those core muscles. So exercise is not only good for your physical health by reducing the risk of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, hyperlipidemia, but also it's great for your mood. Now, most people know that eating healthy foods like vegetables and fruits are great for providing antioxidants, but there was a study done that looked at 14 different food categories, and it was shown that vegetable consumption has the largest contribution to happiness across 8 days. So eating healthy also increases happiness. Now, a lot of people, myself included, have difficulty eating salads on a regular basis. So one way that I found to get all that healthy nutrition into my body was by making a green juice every single day. And it's not complicated at all. I use a Vitamix, but any juice blender will do. I buy everything I need, which is literally just 4 things from Costco. I buy bananas, a spinach and kale mix, and frozen berries and fruit. Then I fill it up with water, blend it, pour it, and then done. Now you have a healthy juice and you're happier. Now, another habit that I do is recognize that emotions such as happiness, sadness, frustration, anger are emotions. They come and go. It is impossible to feel 100% happy all the time. Everyone experiences up and down emotions. And emotions are part of what makes us human, but it's not permanent and they don't define you. One of the techniques that I learned from the book called Master of Emotions is that when I am experiencing sadness, instead of saying I'm sad and identifying with the sadness, I say in my head that I am experiencing a moment of sadness. When you tell yourself that you're experiencing a moment of sadness, frustration, or anger, you know that it's only temporary and it's going to pass. Another habit that I do that boosts my mood is optimizing my productivity. Being productive and checking things off of your to-do list increases dopamine in our brains, which is involved in increasing pleasure in our reward system. And this can really boost your self-esteem, confidence, and really make you feel great. There are a few ways that I optimize my productivity every day. The first thing is I make my to-do list beforehand. Things on your to-do list should be very specific. For example, don't write down something like figure out my finances. That is just way too broad and way too overwhelming, and you probably won't get it done in one day, so you won't feel productive at all. Instead, keep it simple. If it's finance related, then do something specific like open my Roth IRA or transfer money from my checking account to my high yield savings account. You can even do something simple like clean the room, clean my car, organize my desk, or heck, even cut your hair. Even with these little things, just being able to check it off at the end of the day just makes you feel really good about yourself. The next thing that I do is I try to knock out my to-do list as early in the day as possible. That way I can enjoy the rest of the day knowing that I've already done everything I needed to do for that day. I have a morning routine that helps with this, and I made a whole video about my morning routine that you could watch. When I was a busy resident doctor working 12 hours a day, I still had to study for exams, and I also still wanted to work out. The way I was able to accomplish all of this was I woke up early in the morning, I went to the gym first thing, then I went to a coffee shop to study, and then by the time I arrived to work, I had already accomplished everything that I wanted to do, and it felt great. Another thing that I do to enhance my productivity is that sometimes if I'm stuck in a rut or I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere, I change up my environment. For example, I might go to a library or a coffee shop or outside, somewhere that has a conducive environment for productivity. And lastly, but certainly not least, is I practice gratitude in my daily habits. There have been many studies that show that gratitude is associated with greater happiness. Gratitude enhances dopamine and serotonin in our brain. The more that you feel gratitude, the less room there is for negative thought. There are a lot of ways to practice gratitude, but some of the ways include keeping a journal and writing down what you feel grateful for. You can also say it out loud or sharing your gratitude with others by writing a thank you note to somebody or just saying thank you. Now, there's a lot more that can be added to this video, but these are some of the things that I incorporate into my life every day to help me increase my happiness. I hope that video helped you guys, and I hope you try at least one of these things to incorporate in your daily life. Let me know in the comments below what are the things that you do to increase your happiness. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.